Hi everyone! Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different and we're filming from my bathroom and that's because I want to show you something here at the end of the video, and it'll just be easier if we're already in my bathroom than having to go there. So today we're talking about sunscreens, and the question is, which is better, the spray sunscreen or the cream sunscreen? So that's what we're going to get into today. So a lot of people basically don't wear sunscreen, and we should be wearing it every day. And we're not wearing sunscreen because it's greasy, it causes breakouts, or maybe we don't want the added chemicals added to our skin. For me, I guess I wasn't using it every day because I thought my makeup had enough sunscreen in it, but it didn't. My powder had an SPF of 20 and my bronzer doesn't have any SPF in it. So if you think your makeup has SPF in it, check that out because you may be disappointed. So in this video, we're going to talk about what is better, cream or spray sunscreen. And then I'm also going to share with you a sunscreen that is environmentally safe. And some of you are probably thinking, I don't know what she's talking about, and we'll get into that. Does not have any of the harmful chemicals in it that can get into our bloodstream and harm us. Non-greasy. Has an SPF of 40. Some of you are thinking maybe that's not enough, but we'll talk about that as well. And also protects against blue light that we get from our computers and our phones and environmental stressors. So let's get started. I'm Shannon Sprenkle, and I'm dedicated to helping men and women, even if living an unhealthy lifestyle, attain beauty and wellness without breaking the bank. So the first question is my sunscreen safe, or is what you're using safe? So let's talk about that a minute. The safety of sunscreen has really been called into question, more so over the last year. There's been a lot of buzz about it, but the FDA actually did a study on sunscreen this year. And they actually found out that some of the chemicals that are being used in sunscreens actually do get into the bloodstream and can cause problems maybe later on. And maybe not, but we really don't know. A lot of other countries have banned a lot of sunscreens that we use here in the United States because our sunscreens, some of the chemicals in them, are killing the coral in the oceans and hurting marine life. So a lot of those sunscreens have been banned. So it is possible that you're actually lathering up to protect yourself, but you're harming the environment or maybe harming yourself later on in life. So one ingredient we're going to talk about is oxybenzone. So the first chemical we're going to talk about is oxybenzone. Oxybenzone is in 2/3 of all sunscreens. So that's one that we definitely want to watch out for. Oxybenzone in humans actually can affect hormone levels. And in marine life, it's actually damaging the DNA of the coral reefs and causing them to fade and not be as bright and beautiful. Eventually, they will end up killing the corals. So a lot of places like Hawaii is in the process of banning this ingredient from any sunscreens. So I think that's important to know. Now let's talk about SPF and what's better. So a lot of us are spending extra money on SPF because we want the most protection, right? Well, that isn't the way it works. So basically anything higher than an SPF of 40 is no more protection than an SPF of 50, 60, or 75. You're just paying more money. So what that means is an SPF of 40 gives you 98% protection, and nothing more can protect you any more than that, only as if you just don't go outside and be in the sun. So SPF of 40 is all you really need. Sunscreen still needs to be reapplied often, and if you're in and out of the water, you may need to put this on more frequently. Broad spectrum, UVA and UVB is the way you want to go with sunscreen. Sunscreens that have antioxidants in it also give you added protection. So the big question is spray versus the lotion. Well, on the spray side, I would say it's easier to apply, but easier isn't always better. So we need, for adequate coverage, 2 to 3 tablespoons of sunscreen on us to give us a nice thick layer and adequate protection. And what people have found out, when you're using those sunscreens, you're not getting a nice thick layer like you need to have. So we're going to go with the cream. Now, a lot of people say the creams are greasy, they break my face out, I don't like to use them on my face, but I'm going to show you a way around that. Also with the spray, if you have asthma or any kind of breathing problems, the spray sunscreens can also harm your breathing. And it also says on the bottle not to spray it in your face. So the creams win for the day. So we've all been hardwired to read labels, and we read labels of food and we're looking for artificial sweeteners and those types of things, but we fail to read the backs of the bottles of our sunscreen, because if you're like me, I think to myself, why would something be in sunscreen to harm me? I'm using it to protect myself. Well, that's not always the case. Mineral-based sunscreens have actually increased from 17 to 41% over the last year, which is awesome. More people are starting to read labels and avoid harmful chemicals. There's a list of chemicals, but one of the most important ones to try to avoid is the oxybenzone. That's the one that some other countries are trying to ban. Mineral sunscreens have increased from 17 to 41% on people using them over the last year. They also give you a good coverage for the sun, and they also have antioxidants in it that help feed the skin as well. So don't cancel your vacation and don't not enjoy the sun. Just protect yourself. So right now, I am going to talk to you about a sunscreen that I'm using. It is non-greasy, it's mineral-based, it does not contain oxybenzone, and it works as a great makeup primer. I'm going to do this because I've had a lot of people say, you talk about that you don't like steps in your skincare, which I don't, because my old skincare regimen had 6 steps and I could not keep up. I wrote in Sharpie on top of the lids which one came first, second, third, etc. So I'm just going to go over and go through my skincare routine with you and show you how easy it is. And I'm going to incorporate all of the products that we talked about last week. So if you didn't catch that video, you can jump on over to my blog. And it's basically skincare regimens based on age. And so basically we're going to talk about each one of these products, and I'm going to do my morning routine really quickly. In the morning, we're going to start by washing your face. Now with my night cream, I don't wash my face, I just splash it off with water. So that's going to be my first step. All right, so done. Then next, I'm going to use my complexion pad, and this is basically a nice exfoliant. So right here, mineral-based, also works for acne, the lowest dose of salicylic acid, and it has no benzoyl peroxides in it, and it uses fruit juice for exfoliation. So this is really nice. Okay, so there's that. So then the next step I'm going to use is my day cream and my vitamin C serum, which I'm going to show you how I do this here. And I put the extra on my hands. I use a firming cream on my neck, so I don't want to put all that on there, and then the firming cream won't get absorbed as well. All right. And then my next to last step is my eye serum. So you want to do this And then I put it here because I have an 11, the 2 lines in between my forehead, or between my eyes on my forehead. Okay? And then last but not least, my sunscreen. This works as a great makeup primer. As you can see, it's gel. No real smell, it just kind of smells clean. So this sunscreen is protecting me from UVA, UVB, environmental pollutants, and blue light. So there's my morning routine. So even though I'm using a couple products, it literally just takes me a couple minutes. If anybody has any questions on any of these products, feel free to reach out. Jump on over to my blog. You can actually see last week's video or just read it if you want on skincare based on age. If you're interested in the sunscreen, you can always message me or just jump right on over to my site and pick it up. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and I will see you next Monday. Have a good evening.